Welcome to Sundry News for Tuesday, July 28th. We start with the Daily Wire. 600,000 mistakenly told they've had COVID. I have not been tested. So that's 600,000 of the total cases that are complete shams. Trump issues executive orders to slash insulin and EpiPen prices, end global freeloading. Because the other countries such as the UK, have a cap on how much they will pay for these things that are provided by us. And they will absolutely not pay any more. So all the price gouging happens over here. Steelers player won't kneel for anthem. Screw anybody who has a problem with that, talks of immigrant grandmother. Good for him. That's really nice to hear. Seattle Police Chief memo to businesses. We have no ability to safely intercede to protect you from violent crowds. And that is sad and not right. They're succeeding. I mean, if there's still police, but police can't do anything, so there's basically no police. So congratulations, you did it. Armed Minneapolis residents are patrolling their own neighborhoods as city moves to defund police. Yeah, I guess they're going to have to keep on doing that. Oh, but we need social workers. We don't need people with guns. We need social workers to deal with problems. I think your residents disagree. Ads. Blah, 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 blah. Moving on to the Daily Yahoo. Mitch McConnell unveils $1 trillion panic aid package to criticisms from Republicans and Democrats. Well, of course, there's always going to be criticisms no matter what anybody does, because you can't please everybody. Senate Republicans released their counteroffer on another stimulus package, a roughly $1 trillion plan that includes a new round of checks to millions of Americans. And yet, something tells me this isn't going to be a very quick thing. Obviously, since all these criticisms. And the Democrats are apparently pushing back on the whole ending that extra unemployment money. But of course, they want to keep people dependent on the government instead of, incentivizing them to go out and get their fucking jobs back. Ryanair slashes traffic outlook, fears COVID-19 second wave. Ireland's Ryanair cut its annual passenger target by a quarter on Monday and warned a second wave of COVID-19 infections could lower that further, sending its shares down 6%, despite reporting a smaller than expected loss during its April to June lockdown. Group Chief Executive Michael somebody or other said something, blah, 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 blah. Canada Revenue Agency extends tax payment deadline again because of COVID-19. Canadians who owe the tax man are getting another reprieve because of COVID-19. The Canada Revenue Agency, CRA, says the deadline to pay has been extended from September 1st to September 30th. The new deadline applies to individual, corporate, and trust income tax returns, including installment something or other. Why does it stop there when there's plenty of room to finish the line? They asked this man to be the father of their kids, Anna and Lucy are identical twins who wished to marry the same man, and they actually did. Here's their story from Fresh Edits. SAP picked by Moderna to help distribute COVID-19 vaccine candidate. Business software group SAP has been, or SAP, is it SAP or SAP? Has been selected by Moderna to help distribute the potential COVID-19 vaccine that the U.S. pharmaceuticals company is developing, CEO Christian Klein said on Monday. Moderna just selected SAP to help with distribution of the potential vaccine it is developing. Okay. HSBC denies framing Huawei didn't prompt U.S. legal probe. HSBC Holdings PLC? Place? Holdings. I don't know. Responding to media reports over its dealings with Huawei Technologies Company, denied that it framed the Chinese telecom giant and said it didn't spark a U.S. probe of the company. In its first public comments about Huawei's legal battle, in North America? I think, why was Huawei saying that they were framed? I mean, I think there's evidence that they have been up to no good for some time, right? Palestinians. Settler vandals firebomb West Bank mosque. The Palestinian Authority said Monday that a group of Israeli settlers has tried to burn down a mosque near the West Bank city of Ramallah. Hussam Abu al-Rub, the Palestinian Deputy Minister for Religious Affairs, said settlers attacked the mosque after midnight, spray painting something. It's not very nice, but I imagine it's not very comfortable to be a settler there. Featured. Live today. See how brands can take action. Oh, they already are. I think brands are doing plenty. That's enough. In partnership with Yahoo, join us today at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for the virtual town hall Citizen Verizon Assembly, Charging Social Change Forward. This event will feature an all-star lineup of innovators, activists, and change makers addressing what the fuck is a change maker? Addressing how we accelerate social change at a time when it's never been more urgent. Oh my god, this is insufferable. It's so urgent. It's so urgent to take Aunt Jemima off the bottle. It's so urgent. It's fucking ridiculous. What's hot? Oh, it's disinfectant spray on Yahoo Search. And electricity prices on Yahoo Search. Trending now. Kayla Toshi, Jenny Slate, coronavirus, Michelle McNamara, survival food, Gladiator Garage Systems, Amanda Klutz, Halle Berry, Stefania Ferrario, 2020 Subaru Crosstrek. Why are there always so many women on the trending search list, whatever? I think Yahoo just makes it all up. Last but not least, 1440 in partnership with ButcherBox. Good morning! It's Tuesday, July 28th, and we have our fingers crossed as the first large-scale vaccine trial begins in the U.S. Need to know. Moderna vaccine begins next trial. The largest COVID-19 vaccine study in the U.S. so far began yesterday as biotechnology firm Moderna and the National Institutes of Health kicked off a 30,000-person trial. Previous data showed the drug prompted an immune response in patients. The large-scale study involves healthy volunteers who won't know whether they've received the treatment or a placebo. Dr. Anthony Fauci said the goal is to reduce the risk of infection by at least 60%, and that preliminary results may be available in the fall. To me, Dr. Anthony Fauci has no credibility whatsoever. But I suppose that is the hazard of being the face of all this shit. Similar studies of other leading potential vaccines are scheduled to be rolled out each month through the fall, with the University of Oxford's candidate scheduled next. More than 150,000 health volunteers are needed in total. Visit this page if you're interested in joining a study. No, thank you. Elsewhere, President Trump's National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien tested positive for the coronavirus, sources revealed yesterday, making him the highest-ranking administration official to become infected. O'Brien has mild symptoms and has reportedly not been in close contact with the president. Separately, we're reading this overview on some of the supply chain issues that have significantly hampered testing in the U.S. The U.S. has reported almost 4.3 million total cases as of this morning. Take about 600,000 out of that. At least. With 148,056 alleged deaths. See how your state is doing here. Just as a reminder, the reason I say alleged deaths is because that number includes people who just happened to die while they had COVID. For instance, one that's gotten quite a bit of attention is somebody who died in a motorcycle accident, was listed as a COVID death. See how stupid it is? That's why it's alleged. GOP stimulus proposal. Senate Republicans released their proposal for a fourth coronavirus stimulus package yesterday. Most notably, the $1 trillion proposal would reduce a $600 per week boost to unemployment benefits, the last checks for which were sent over the weekend, to $200 for 2 additional months. And that's good. Stop paying people more to stay home than they could make if they get a job. A second round of $1,200 direct payments phasing out between individual income levels of $75,000 to $99,000 is included. And that's the same as it was before, and I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm still conflicted about all that fucking money, and the fact that the last time, some of the money went to dead people, and that's not good. But some people need it, including some people. More than $100 billion is provided for education, with $70 billion for K-12 schools and $30 billion for colleges and universities. Half of the $70 billion is marked for schools planning to reopen in person in the fall. The bill includes extensive, and that would have to include every school in Texas and any other state that has specifically mandated that all schools have to provide 5 days of in-school schooling, as well as remote learning. The bill includes extensive liability protections shielding businesses from coronavirus lawsuits, but does not include a cut to payroll taxes, a provision pushed for by the White House. See more details here. House Democrats have previously passed a $3.5 trillion package, and Congress will now rush to finish negotiations before the August recess. Yeah, how much of that $3.5 trillion is a bunch of stuff that is not actually relevant to what this is supposed to be for? More feds to Portland. The Trump administration will reportedly send 100 more federal agents to Portland, Oregon, roughly doubling the size of the current force. The forces are non-military, largely drawn from executive branch agencies like Customs and Border Protection, but reportedly include at least one elite tactical group. At least 22 people have been arrested since Thursday, officials said. That's it? The news comes as the protests, sparked by the May 26th death of George Floyd, but increasingly focusing on a fence surrounding a downtown federal courthouse, continued for the 61st consecutive night. The administration has maintained a federal presence is needed to protect federal property in the city from vandalism and arson. Yep. Local police say it has become impossible to distinguish between legitimate protest and intentional criminal activity. Just make that easy for yourself. There's just no more legitimate protest. Just don't worry about that. Treat it all as intentional criminal activity because that's all it is. Demonstrators have likened the federal agents to paramilitary forces, accusing them of abuse of power and unlawful detainment. I mean, when any sort of legitimate protest has been going on for this long, I don't think that it should be considered protest anymore because these people obviously don't have anything better to do. They're, what's the word? Damn it. Oh. Like vagrancy. They obviously are not able to contribute anything to society. Eh? I mean, this long, they have been able to do this for this long. So they're not accomplishing anything. They're just giving legitimacy to the intentional criminals. They're giving them a shield. So, yeah, it's not legitimate protest. Demonstrators have likened the federal agents to paramilitary forces, accusing them of abuse of power and unlawful detainment. Meanwhile, some have called for an end to the protests, saying they've co-opted the Black Lives Matter movement. Separately, and the Black Lives Matter movement is bad enough. Separately, testimony from a National Guard officer is expected to contradict the White House's account of the clearing of a protest in Washington, D.C.'s Lafayette Square last month. Okay. Cut fillets, not corners. Butcher box. Overwhelmed in the meat aisle of the grocery store? Can't decide why one cut of meat costs twice as much as the seemingly identical piece next to it? Seems like the best solution might just be to close your eyes and pick one up blindly. That, or you could avoid the grocery store ordeal altogether thanks to ButcherBox. ButcherBox believes in high-quality, high-value meat delivered to your doorstep. You can trust that all their beef is 100% grass-fed and grass-finished. The chicken is free-range organic, the pork is heritage breed, and the seafood is wild-caught. For similar quality meats at the grocery store, you'd be paying an arm and a leg. With ButcherBox, the average cost is less than $6 per meal. And even better, you can shop from the comfort of your own home with free shipping in a 100% recyclable box. See what ButcherBox has on offer today. Between the 4 curated boxes and 1 customized option, there's bound to be a fit for you. Start getting meat the right way today. Please support our sponsors, okay? Because I have experience with this, ButcherBox is not the right way. Because they have to freeze everything. They freeze everything before they send it. So you're already getting lower grade meat than much of what's in the grocery store because it's been frozen. In the know, sports, entertainment, and culture. MLB postpones 3 games after at least 13 Miami Marlins players and staff test positive for COVID-19. Here's what it might mean for the rest of the MLB season. The 72nd Primetime Emmy nominations to be announced this morning. See full list of predictions. The Little Mermaid composer Alan Menken won a Daytime Emmy Sunday to become 16th person with EGOT status, winning an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. Well, good for him. The Ellen DeGeneres Show is under investigation by its parent company Warner Media over accusations of racism and toxic work culture. Oh my goodness. Oh, the Oprah magazine to end print editions after 20 years will go fully digital. Science and technology. Study links early immune system response with the severity of COVID-19 symptoms. Finds high levels of proteins that facilitate tissue repair correlate with milder symptoms. Okay. Comprehensive study finds link between income inequality and education gaps in the U.S. as far back as 1908. Marks the first study to examine the differences in the early 20th century. And pretty sure not all of those gaps were found in the Black community. That's where poor white trash comes in, you know? Kind of flies in the face of the whole systemic racism thing. Researchers demonstrate precise creation of a single molecule from two atoms using highly focused laser beams known as optical tweezers. Technique may be a route to prepare molecules for use in quantum computing. Business and markets. U.S. stock markets up, S&P 500 up 0.4%, Dow up 0.7%, NASDAQ up 1.7%. On hopes of another panic stimulus, gold reaches all-time high. Google to allow employees to work from home until at least July 2021. Holy shit. Target to close stores on Thanksgiving Day, joining Walmart. Good for them. Under Armour receives SEC notice regarding potential accounting irregularities of revenue in 2015 to 16. Okay. Politics and world affairs. Lawmakers honor Representative John Lewis as he lies in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. Lewis, who will be buried Thursday in Atlanta, is the first Black lawmaker to lie in state in the Rotunda. Okay. More photos here. First presidential debate scheduled for September 29th. Ooh, exciting. Moved from the University of Notre Dame to Cleveland over coronavirus concerns. Former Malaysian leader Najib Razak found guilty of stealing from a multi-billion-dollar state investment fund, faces between 15 and 20 years in prison. In depth. The fearsome thunderstorms of Cordoba, from New York Times Magazine. Northern Argentina's Cordoba province is home to some of Earth's most freakish and destructive storms, which are capable of forming in as little as 30 minutes. Now, scientists want to know what the deadly phenomenon can teach us about the future of extreme weather. From CEO to fugitive. Vanity Fair. A look at how former Nissan CEO Carlos Ghosn, arrested in Japan on charges of misappropriating funds, escaped from house arrest and fled to Lebanon, as told by the ex-Green Beret who helped him. Believe in better. ButcherBox believes in more than just eating meat for meat's sake. They believe in high-quality meats sourced from farmers who are dedicated to doing the right thing. And that's why ButcherBox has become the trusted source of high-quality protein for families across the country. Their chickens are raised without cages or crowding. Their cattle are free to roam on grassy pastures. And their hogs are raised with natural tendencies, safety, and comfort in mind. Always the highest standards with you in mind. Check out ButcherBox today for meat that's sourced and priced responsibly. And then they waste all of that effort is just ground into the dirt by the fact that they freeze it, which toughens the meat. Please support our sponsors, but don't try ButcherBox. Etc. Trained dogs can sniff out coronavirus cases with high accuracy. America is running out of aluminum cans. Mapping the oldest restaurant in nearly every country. From our partners. Escape to Punta Mita, Mexico. To enjoy 3 nights for 2 at the AAA 5 Diamond St. Regis, just named one of the world's best resorts by Travel Plus Leisure. for an unprecedented $899. Choose your dates with the peace of mind that your trip is fully refundable. Meh. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson are now Greek citizens. Okay. Turn of the century New York City in stunning high-definition color. This 4-year-old poet is set to release his first collection. When your dog needs their hand held at the vet. Man paints himself, painting himself, drawing himself, painting himself. That sounds neat. Clickbait. Baboons spotted in England safari park carrying knives and chainsaws. Oh my goodness. Stay away from those bad guys. History book. Rest in peace, legendary composer Johann Sebastian Bach, 1750. 14th Amendment, granting U.S. citizenship to former slaves, is officially adopted, 1868. Former First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, born 1929. The Tangshan earthquake kills over 240,000 in China, 1976. One man can make a difference and every man should try, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. Okie dokie. That's it for Sundry News for today. Thank you and goodbye.